Today's show is brought to you by deception and division. The divide between smart consumers and fanboys has caused fighting, tantrums, and all this fake belief of loyalty. Gamers are picking sides, venting their anger, and now are picking better games coming on the horizon. And if you think this is a real death threat, then you obviously have never been on the opposing end of a death threat. But don't tell that to Tamim, or you'll make him cry. Capcom lowering their sales expectations shows consumers' voice indeed matters. Now, I don't care if you like Ninja Theory, I don't care if you like Capcom. I don't care if you like yours truly with that bias. You shouldn't be watching the video anyway if that's the case, unless you're looking for something to complain about. But regardless, the truth is going to come out today.
Lowered expectations.
YouTube Nation, Manvent TV, aka me TV, aka the man with the broken halo, because the devil, he won't let me be, obviously. And I put it like this, I understand a lot of you people think that you can tell heaven from hell, angels from demons, blue skies from gray, but you know what, by the time I'm done this, you're going to understand, from trolls all the way up to the media and companies, you're going to understand why gamers are against this game. Now, I'll put it like this, if you've watched the videos before, then guess you already know what you're getting yourself into. You already know how this is going to go down, alright? Also, I'll put it like this. If you haven't seen the prologue for this, I'll put that in the info bar as well. But, I do want to talk about how everything I have done so far has gone according to plan. I mean, seriously. So go ahead, get your trolls, go get all these people that you already know that back you. Go ahead and put on forums so people already agree with you. Dislike all you want. It's not going to stop the truth from coming out. You understand that? Alright? Like I said, everything's going according to plan. Trolls acting like try-hard, die-hards, check. Right? Companies lying to you, check. Right? You got people trying to silence others because they have a difference of opinion, check. We even had a fat guy come out and say, you know, you don't know what you're talking about, you haven't played the game yet. Remember Critter 505 when he did that 2 years ago with the DCUO videos? And what did I say to him then? I haven't played the fucking game yet, so you should calm down. Look, alright? You went on afterwards to say how if it is free to play, that the servers will be limited. You haven't played the game either, idiot! So how do you know? It goes to show you, you angry mob of fanboys, you use the same excuse you've been using them for years, and it hasn't helped you once yet. Not once. See, that's what I'm talking about. You have to understand, this is not my first time around the block. Everything's going according to plan. Hell, almost the release date is the same as DCUO. Understand that you're making yourself look bad because of gamer immaturity. History is repeating itself. It means you never learn from the situations. You gotta be kidding me. Alright? Same mindset. This is why you're not taken seriously. And I put it like this because this is what happens when the companies try to exploit you, and in turn, you go and praise them for exploiting you. What the hell is that all about? You know what? I'm done with the fanboy rhetoric. Let's just dive into this right now, because we have to talk about one of the most important things that people keep arguing about, and that's if this game is catered to casuals. And my Magic 8 Ball says,
well, it depends how good you are at playing, you know, DMC and how good you are at action games. I would say for the first playthrough, between 10 and 15 hours, roughly.
And DMC has been notoriously hard in the past. You know, can you speak to a little bit of about the difficulty of this game, if you can select difficulty levels, and if that classic hard gameplay is back?
I think for hardcore DMC player, they're gonna love it, because if you really want to master the game and perform triple aces combo all the time, it's gonna take some time. But also it's more accessible. You know, you can go through the game for someone who's not as much into action game as a hardcore DMC fan. You can also play the game, enjoy the story, enjoy the combat, but probably not at the same level as a hardcore DMC fan would.
First off, this game is not going to take 10 to 15 hours to complete. You've got to be crazy. You have to be very naive to believe that, alright? And then to say that it's going to take a while to get always triple S combos. Seriously, is that what you want to hang your hat on? Because we've already seen the gameplay on its hardest level get S combos with minimal effort.
no less than 8 youth detention facilities, often mounting brutal, humiliating attacks against the prison officers just doing their jobs. Between 16 and 17, he became involved in gangs, drug peddling, and is believed to be responsible for over a dozen homicides. And worst of all, he was also a well-known cruiser in the seedier districts of the city, rapidly spreading sexual...
I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did.
Me too.
Sorry that I died once. Like I said, this is hard mode. It changes the amount of damage you take, the amount of damage you give, and I think there's a little bit of enemy behavior that changes too.
Now let's look at a comparison from the past game's Devil May Cry as opposed to the new Devil May Cry. That looked pretty damn easy to me. Now look, I understand before anyone flips out, okay? The person who made that video, it is not 100% accurate interpretation of the new Devil May Cry fight, battle system. However, the speed is 100% accurate. And before anyone comes in here running their mouth talking about but he's using the axe, it's supposed to be heavy and slow. Understand, the axe should not be giving you that much power, let alone boosting up your style meter that high in ranking. Oh, I forgot. It's not a style meter at this point. It's really not. But that's not all, alright? Alex Jones comes out and says that this game will be for hardcore players, only later to shoot himself in the foot and making himself look foolish. Alex Jones says there are an infinite number of ways to attack, but we all know that's impossible because if it's infinite, this game would never come out. Even a gamer comes out and says, yes, infinite. Not 20 or 30, but infinite. It is a logical impossibility to say that anything is infinite in a game, given you are working with a finite amount of space on a disk and a finite amount of memory on a system. But we all know that's not the case. Basically, bullshit. Then Alex tries to compare this game to Devil May Cry 3, only to say when progressing, there will be areas, meaning it makes the game easier for save points. Apparently, today's gamers, they feel, can't progress anymore at the end of levels. Also in that article, Alex says, I want to read this off the computer, it says, so yeah, I think we have less soul-crushing, that's right, soul-crushing checkpoints. It says, and I don't think it's going to frustrate people or make things too easy. So, you're just shooting for the medium at this point. Matter of fact, let's just look at the picture where he says it. So gamers can't take on a challenge now? You know what? You sound like one of those crime players from Demon's Souls who just mindlessly tried to go in and hack and slash everything with no strategy only to get destroyed. That's what you sound like right now. But that's not all. Apparently, they think you gamers are stupid as well because now they gotta put on screen what weapon you're using and what attack you're doing as well. That just seems like hand-holding to me, but yet this game is supposed to be on par with Devil May Cry 3. Really? Really? That's what you want to say? Or so they say. And here's the thing. When gamers asked about taunting and the reason, why it's not in the gameplay, we had to hear a BS excuse about narrative, why it's not part of the battle.
We had some people disappointed about the lack of a taunt, which I understand, because that was cool and it also played into the gameplay, but I think NT takes their narrative very seriously.
That's kind of odd because the new Dante is a dick, so he would taunt, right? And before any of you guys say, oh no, he just doesn't care, I want you to remember that because we're going to talk about that later and how it contradicts everything you're saying. I'm telling you, the way this character is written, the way they wrote him, it makes no sense. He's a walking contradiction. It's a bad character build the way they wrote him. He's a bad character, all right? I'm just letting you know that. So remember that part. But a gamer does call them on their BS narrative excuse. So let's get into this real quick, all right? And this person says, what the fuck? So you're sacrificing gameplay. It says, James to me, he's making a story on why his hair is black and took out taunts due to story? And I have to agree, all right? Because we've seen every video of this guy being cocky. Remember, he was supposed to be cocky at first. He was supposed to be angsty against the world, all right? But we've seen every video of him being cocky, and now you're going to tell me you're not going to put in taunts, even though he's cocky? That makes no sense. But I do want to move on and talk about this turbo mode. That's right. There's no turbo mode in this game. Now, I want to talk about this due to the fact that we had turbo mode in the PS2 era, did we not? All right? Now, we're in a new generation with new tech, with new everything. It's supposed to be bigger. It's supposed to be better. Am I correct? So why is it there's no turbo mode? You are getting less quality for your money. Do you understand that? That's what's happening right now. And yet, for some reason, people are okay with this. So let me get this straight, all right? No turbo mode. Hand-holding when it comes to weapon choice on the screen, telling you what it does and everything. We've got easy save points because they don't want to frustrate people, okay? Understand that? And we've seen, as you seen earlier, a ton of video where the gameplay, when it comes to doing combos, is so easy. It is confirmed it is for casuals. You understand that? You know what? I can stop this video right now, but there's no reason. Let's keep going because there's a lot more that needs to be said. Let's keep going down the rabbit hole to see how far this goes, because Alex Jones also confirms something I said in the previous Devil May Cry video about how they're using media to influence especially all these fanboys.
Past about this idea of limbo being this sort of hellish mirror image of the real world where the demons can take direct action against Dante. But they do retain the ability to exert indirect control over the real world by controlling the levers of power and cultural influence, politics, finance, media, news media in particular being a way in which people can be demonized, public opinion can be pushed.
Thank you for saying that, Alex, because like I said before, Ninja Theory and Capcom are using the media, the very same tactics that they're supposed to be against in this game, contradicting themselves, making themselves look like hypocrites, to go against anyone, to demonize anyone who is against this game. For the previous 2 years, the media has called gamers haters, telling people if we don't like it, there's something wrong with us. We've been called vicious fan people, crybabies, whiners, telling the masses it's only about the hair, idiots writing articles full of satire instead of trying to negotiate a medium for a better community. Why isn't anyone questioning these type of things? Shouldn't you demand better instead of putting clowns on a pedestal? They have time to write garbage, fanning the flames for views, but not enough time to help inform consumers so they can come to a conclusion whether it's worth the initial price. And these are the people you respect, really. These are the people. And it's amazing how Ninja Theory can claim Dante is a victim of sensationalist media when they use the very same tactics of the media to sell a product and discredit anyone who says anything differently, which old and new Dante's character traits would look down on. That's not being smart. That's being hypocritical. You've become the very same thing that you are against. Or you were never really against it, just lied to people. That's what it comes down to. I'll take the latter on this one. Not only that, but then you have the media flat out say they're defending the game. Seriously, when has the media ever had to come out and defend a game? Oh right, Mass Effect 3. And we all saw how ugly that became, really, didn't we? They preach about how the media should be neutral, not spin the truth, when the very same media is telling you to your face they have an agenda, a bias. This is ridiculous.
Everyone's got used to Dante's new look, and if you haven't, kindly shut up.
So let me get this straight. Telling potential sales to shut up is now professional? And the funny part is with that video is the guy, he disabled his comments because fans came in and let him know it is their right to have a difference of opinion. Obviously, in his eyes, they're not, right? And this is what I mean. Instead of taking the time to find out why fans weren't happy with the product, he automatically escalated the situation. Yeah, that's very professional.
By now, the initial reaction to DMC has gotten old. We've all seen the rants about Dante's change of hair colour, the accusations of the character going emo, and reams of video comments accusing the developers of betraying fans. But what else would you expect from Ninja Theory? One of the superstar studios of British development, their involvement with non-gaming figures such as the writer Alex Garland and actor Andy Serkis should tell you something about the kind of studio they are. Committed to technical innovation, artistic depth, and above all, good gaming narratives, we can't imagine a better developer to take the reins of the Devil May Cry series.
What? The great ninja theory and technical innovation that they can't get past 30 frames per second on a console? The great technical innovation that the Unreal 3 engine they're using instead of the Unreal 4 engine? Is that what you want to talk about? How about the fact that this great technical innovation that they needed Capcom to come swoop in and help them because they got stuck? Not only that, now we're finding out that this game for the PC, when it comes out, is going to be 60 frames per second. That's right, not 30 frames. So whatever happened to it's going to feel like 60 frames per second on the console, liar? What happened to that? See, this is what I mean. You have to also understand, console fans, which is the core fan base platform for Devil May Cry, are getting the short end of the stick. Once again, you are getting less quality for your money. You understand that, right? For a higher price tag. That's what's going on here. But that's not all. Even the guys, the PR guys over at Capcom doing the stream, even they acknowledge that the 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second remark is legit, but then try to make an exception for the game.
There is a demo coming, and it's the kind of game that when you play it, like, the whole 30-60, I know that's still a sticking point, but it's like the game just feels good on its own merit. Like, if you want to miss out on a good game, fine.
Yeah. Oh, so now we're going the peer pressure route. If you want to miss out on a great game, you'll be out of the loop. Stop that. There are no exceptions, all right? This is what I mean. You guys have been sitting here saying that this is supposed to be next level, that Ninja Theory is the second coming, and that's what you guys are saying, right? It's a downgrade. That's what this is. See it for what it is. As far as I'm concerned, if you take away the PR spin and the ass-kissing fandom, see it for what it is. Put it on the level. It's really that simple. And here's the thing, because people like to say, oh, Event, you're just making stuff up. Even the Capcom PR guys got a little frustrated when enemies weren't attacking.
This is a little harder to show, but the demon one is sort of a counter. Wait. And do something, guy.
You were sending the wrong message to the gaming community, but you don't care about them anyway. Let's be honest here. The media comes out and says, Capcom's happy that they've turned around public opinion, that they silenced the haters. Yeah, silenced the haters. Let's get something straight. The only reason gamers have been silenced is because you banned them. That's right, from Capcom Unity, from any website, anything Devil May Cry, this new one, related, and anyone that speaks against it, you have banned them. That's what you've done. Don't get this twisted, people. So don't give me this, you've silenced the haters. And then on top of it, alright, you still go to the media and you still call them a bunch of names. And here's the thing, even the trolls that ruin gaming communities that are for this game are allowed to stay. That is ridiculous. It goes to show you that they don't care. It goes to show you the type of association, the company they keep. That's what it comes down to. And with mods, let me tell you something, especially on Capcom Unity, alright? Because the mods sat here and said, well, we're banning people because, because they're just complaining, they're just crying. Yet, you sat here and used the same behavior yourself. They want people to stop being flamed, yet they do it themselves or assume how others are going to act. You should know by now, people, when you assume things, all right? But mods, you have to understand, people are going to have a difference of opinion. It's that simple. They're going to. They have a right to have a difference of opinion. Now, I put it like this. There's people on my fan page that are for this game. And it's fine. That's their opinion. As long as they don't act like a bunch of assholes about it. And that's what it comes down to. Now, if someone is acting very unruly, I can understand why you're warning them or throwing them off or whatever. I understand that. But you also have to be fair about it. And it seems like that's not what you want. It seems like after all the examples I've seen or people that have complained to me, you want a bunch of yes men. So I'll put it like this. If you want yes men, then what you need to do is in your terms and conditions, before people sign up for your site, you need to really put that in big bold letters before people hit the I accept button, as far as I'm concerned, all right? But that's not all. This is what one person sent me, all right? It says, I got a message from Capcom, this person's pissed off, from Capcom mod Gregman that works for them, that I was derailing a thread. It says, heck, 3 defensive fanboys, or probably paid guys, are not getting a fair warning. It says, now look at the DMC thread. There are only 4 guys praising it and awaiting this game. It says, laugh out loud, just laughable. I can't wait for this game to come out and bomb. But that's not all. I had a number of people come to me and say that their posts were being edited. That's right, on Capcom Unity and on different forums everywhere. When they would talk against Devil May Cry, the mods were editing them so that it seems like they were saying they were pretty much prostituting themselves out, saying that they would do sexual favors to other people, or that they were doing sexual, things to themselves, so that people would get a laugh out of it, to belittle them. That is ridiculous. Now, I'll put it like this. I don't want to say that's happening, that it's legit, because these guys who complained to me, they didn't provide sufficient proof, but I'll leave that up to debate for you guys. I really hope this is not happening, because that's very abusive and that's very spiteful. I mean, all over a video game, that's ridiculous, but that's not all. We see how that plays, that power, when it comes to that split, because I guarantee you, if this was the sides were reversed, all right, and people, you know, they would be the silent majority as opposed to the vocal minority. You know how this goes, all right? We've seen this. This is what I mean about it's creating buzz and also money, because revenue, advertising, it's all over the place now. Not to mention the media always talking about it. But I do want to talk about the media a little bit more because I'm looking at these links. It's good to know that not all media has been swayed. This one guy says that Devil May Cry is good, but it's not Devil May Cry good. That's the thing. Now, mind you, I said that before in a video, you know, in the past. And it seems like there are more and more media talking about this, about how the game isn't that good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in the info bar for you guys. Now, for those who don't understand how the media, all right, and how, you know, the connection between PR and the media and how it actually shapes what you think as gamers, let's talk about that real quick. In a report released by Penny Arcade, the EDAR is a video game research and consultant group that looks at a crazy amount of data in video games. They employ researchers who play games and take notes of many details. An incredible amount of quantitative data, including partner data, such as false information, market spend, and consumer awareness, is recorded for each game. Game consumers pay for access to this information in order to gain data about what features impact sales, or to look at what is being offered in competing games when planning a new project. And I quote, "At the end of the day, a review is a pretty good proxy for an execution and quality of a game. Right now, if you mapped out unit sales to review scores, you will see there is an exponential power curve going on." End quote. Put together a chart that showed sales against review scores, and the image is shocking. If your game is scoring an average of 90 or above in a game review, alright, you're going to sell 3 times as many copies. Now, I know that's a no-brainer for some people, alright? They say they assume that the reviews are rational, which is a dangerous assumption to make. But let's just focus on what reviews mean to games. And it turns out reviews mean a great deal, especially when we're talking about correlation versus causation. EDAR says, and I quote, "People like good games. People talk about them. You definitely get more buzz. There are more articles written about it. People review good games more. That's simple." End quote. The higher the game is reviewed, overall, the more people are going to review it. When a reviewer sees a game that they like at E3, they're going to ask for a copy to review. They're going to write more previews and run more interviews. Coverage will increase. But that's not what we saw with Devil May Cry. Now, did we? No. We see more articles based on name calling than actually reviewing the game. And if they did review the game, they never go into detail on why it's good, other than, "Trust us, you'll like it." That's not good enough when spending so much money on a product. EDAR conducted a study with the Guildhall at SMU where they invited people who have never seen Plants vs. Zombies to come in and play the game. One group was shown reviews that rated the game highly. One group wasn't shown any reviews, and the third group was shown reviews that gave the game a low score. The results were amazing. When asked to score the game, the group that had read positive reviews, which gave the game a score of 90, themselves rated the game an 85. The group without a review, Influence, rated it a 79, while the group that had been shown the low review score of 61 rated the game a stunningly low 71 out of 100. By simply showing review scores to players before they tried the game, EDAR and SMU were able to create a 14-point shift in the perception of the game. Mind you, Capcom is aiming for 90s with this game to please reviewers, not fans. That's called the anchoring effect, where people get a preconceived notion in their head, EDAR said. They also tried to find out how these preconceived notions changed buying habits. They offered the students $10 cash at the end of the study or a copy of the game. 38% of the players shown the high scores took the game, while only 17% of the players who were shown the lower scores took the copy of the game. By anchoring their perception about the game's quality before they played it, EDAR and SMU were able to change the perceived value of the game to players. That's the power of a review. This also works for word of mouth as well. 79% of the players who read no reviews said they would recommend the game to their friends, while 91% of the players shown good reviews said they would recommend it. Only 65% of the players who read the bad reviews said they would recommend it to a friend. Mind you, PopCap just laid off the creator of Plants vs. Zombies. Now, I know you're saying right now, well, we already knew that. Why are you telling us? You have to understand, not everyone understands this process. That's about as people in my previous Devil May Cry video, oh, you're already telling us information we know. Not everything is about you. You understand that, right? Not everyone does this. Not everyone knows these type of things. And I told you before when I do these videos, it's not just for a core base. Understand, this also goes to the parents. This also goes to anyone who is willing to learn. That's what it comes down to, even people who are non-gamers, so that we, as regular gamers, don't get stereotyped. Alright, that's what this comes down to. But you don't want to hear that, do you? You just want to keep thinking about yourself. Once again, that's the type of company this game keeps. That's what it comes down to. And also understand, not everyone understands how they get sucked into these type of things. So, let's hear a CEO say it themselves that they actually control the media. In an article posted by Gamasutra in 2007, and I quote, "If you disagree with me, you do so at your own peril," wrote Trip Hawkins, president of the now-defunct game publisher 3DO, in an irate email to the editors of GamePro magazine in 2001, and I quote again, "And do not patronize me by telling me the reader is the customer. Your real customer is the one that pays you your revenue, and it's game industry advertisers." Wow. Advertising dollars from game publishers and hardware manufacturers pay for the production of the popular gaming magazines. But it is your interest in candid stories about products that make ad space valuable in the first place. And that's when marketing gets more subtle. Alright? It says, "It should be obvious to any reader that marketers control the content of their ads. But did you know that they have a hand in almost every story a game magazine prints?" I'll add that to the websites as well. Okay? It's the natural consequence of undeniable fact. The games press is almost entirely dependent on the access to information, people, and products that only game publishers can provide. You want the latest details on a game that's still a year away from release? What you get, when you get it, and who you get it from are ultimately decisions made by the game's marketers. Think of it as a giant information spigot, alright? The folks with their hands on the valve, the ones who tell game journalists about upcoming games, or don't, set up interviews with the game's developers, or don't, and eventually send out early copies of that game, or don't, alright? Once again, are the publicists. And I quote again, "The job of the media, in turn, is to carry their opinions about what I've told them to the public. The ultimate goal being to get coverage through online outlets, print publications, broadcast media, podcasts, etc. But more often, publicists seek not just to drum up press coverage, but to deliver positive coverage, preferably framed by certain points the game marketers have deemed important to get across to the public. For example, spores about evolution, crisis is pretty, etc. Alright? In short, they try to influence what the game press tells their readers and how they say it. The motivation for companies to court and shape media coverage of their games and products is obvious. The difference between an ad and a published story, of course, is that the writer can say anything he or she wants about the game. But in allowing the publication access to a game and the people who created it, publishers exert a subtle influence. Their greatest tool in their arsenal is the exclusive, often taking form of a sought-after cover story for magazines. Judging by the activity in online forums and letters to the editor scribbled in red crayon, it's not uncommon for readers of a game and websites to believe that nefarious dealings and company loyalty, bias, also come into play when determining how a game will score in a review. Let's not forget, if writers are already pushing Devil May Cry without giving us reasons why other than trust us or give it a chance, and are only bringing up insults and misleading the public about gamer complaints, then it's certain the game will get good reviews, which will lead to stronger sales. Also, not too long ago, a writer came out and admitted that the companies indeed pay for reviews. That link will be in the info bar. It's a power play against gamers in general. Unfortunately, there are many who have fallen for the tactic, and now we have to talk about trolls, fanboys, who have just taken it way too far. In particular, let's start with one troll who goes by the name A203D, who is apparently obsessed with yours truly, calling me and my fans thugs, when he's admitted he doesn't even know what the word thug means. You know what I'm saying? saying that I sent them to developers like Kamiya to harass them when everyone knows I've done videos being against things like that. Show me some proof. Show me one time where I've instructed my fans to harass developers. You follow and talk about me all the time, okay? Surely you have proof of this, right? You can't, because it never happened. But to label and compare me to a terrorist over video games has to be the most desperate reach I've seen from a community. Congratulations, you've become worse than the DCUO, MMO, and comic book fan base, and they're 10 times larger than the DMC fan base. They didn't even go this far. And when others call you out on showing your face, just like the coward you are, you make an excuse on why not to. You spend 24/7 typing about me, but won't upload a video for 5-10 minutes? Coward. So apparently everyone, in this idiot's mind, I'm a terrorist for giving you information from other links that other people write, plus my own opinion on video games. Really, so that's why you have to be kidding me. But you know what? I was always wondering, where the hell did they even get this type of comparison? I wonder where.
My personal view on the terrorists is that they are disgusting, degrading, ghastly, sleazy, period, and generally nauseating.
Damn, you can at least be original in your insults and comparisons. Oh wait, you're back in the company of Ninja Theory that isn't very original either. When this person was caught jumping site to site talking about me, I confronted him, setting the record straight and that this person has an unhealthy obsession with me. And what does this clown do? He says he's not going to talk to me until he talks to someone else online that's not around. Which that conversation has nothing to do with me. It goes to show you how many cowards are truly out there hiding behind their damn computers. But that's not all. I'm going to dismantle each and every one of you today. Understand, just because you can't handle me, you gotta call one of your buddies for help. Even they can't help you either. Then you have Naruto the Sage, which someone should tell him you can't talk tough with the name Naruto in your screen name. Always likes to go from video to video, trashing any YouTuber against Devil May Cry. Don't believe me? Look at his YouTube feed. Nothing but Devil May Cry. Either kissing its ass or trashing people who don't like it. Never talks about the actual game. Just insults people as if it helps his stance in liking it. And when you throw real life facts at him, he tries to insult you, but exposes himself by admitting he watches my videos. How else would he know I was on the news if he wasn't following me, saying I was never on the radio, when I showed you guys the pictures on Twitter of me in the studio with Philly's great Darren Dalton? If I'm such a loser and an idiot, etc., why are you watching me then? It's because you love me and you know you do. And when you tell him as well to show his face, he gives the same excuses on why not to. Meaning, both of them don't have the heart to do it. These are the same idiots that say, my opinion doesn't matter, I can't change public opinion. What don't you understand that these videos are done by fan request? Meaning, the public already has this opinion, stupid. That's what it means. And this is what you're not understanding, because I had said in the beginning that I was willing to give this game a chance until the developers started acting like idiots, and then I went full in. That's what it came down to. I showed you guys what's going on behind the scenes and the tactics that they're using, not just gameplay. I've never made that a secret, so I don't know where you guys get this from. However, you keep trying to push this pro versus anti agenda as if it's the only thing that's going on to generate more buzz. This is not about one side versus another, the pro versus anti, whatever that you and the trolls try to make it. This is about the attitude and the tactics that the companies and the media are trying to use, how low they will go to sell you a product. That's what this is about. And if you even try to disagree with them, they will try to belittle you or they will try to silence you. I put it like this: the fighting amongst each other only generates buzz for this game. But it's funny you say that I'm not reaching anyone, because one YouTube video maker really disagrees with you by the numbers.
Hello, this is Draconovich, and I am doing a video broadcast on the power of the fan. Why should Ninja Theory and Capcom take fans seriously? Why should they take event status seriously? What can one video game fan do? I've been watching online on information on the newest game, but I've been noticing quite a bit of upset on the side of the fans. So I decided to do a little fun with gaming economics and play and see things in a more tangible light. This is merely prediction and going on a low safe gamble in estimates, not taking into account morbid curiosity of skeptical consumers on one side, or the fact other games are coming out at the same time to entice a purchasing attention on the other side. This is merely based off of observing gaming as it grew from the Atari and seeing how the community has been changed and remained the same. This is not a professional accounting prediction, just a thoughtful analysis based over how I've observed gaming sales history over the decades. It is an interesting market, to be certain. This is based off of only one video blog and one person as an example. Devil May Cry, Part 4.5, Devils Never Cry. The link is below. It is by Event Status, and he has quite a bit of passion and information. He often references quite a bit, and even though he speaks quite a bit in earnest, he does seem to have some valid points on the lack of support of the fans for this new product. Now let's get into the numbers. Each game is expected to be $60. Capcom is expecting, or at least the last time that I heard, to have $5 million as their projected sales for the game. On that one blog, there were 530 likes of the YouTube episode made by Event Status. Now, if you take that, multiply it by the $60, that will give you $31,800 worth of games not being sold to the people who agree with the blog. Now, that's a chunk of change, but a drop in the bucket compared to the projected amount of sales for Capcom. Reminding, that is the 5 million mark. But wait, there's this little thing about networking. You see, gamers are the ultimate source of advertising. Don't believe me? Ever hear of Angry Birds? Anyhow, for the next part, we'll take into account the fact that gamers talk and that there are always people who rely on their suggestions. So here's an example on if 4 potential customers are strongly suggested not to purchase the game due to issues associated with company ethics, developers' presentation of acknowledgement or respect for customers, or simply a disagreement with the form and function of the game. Now take the $31,800, multiply that by 5 because each person had suggested to 4 individual people, and you'll come up with a total of $159,000. Now here's the next part. We're going into the subscribers for Event Status. In total, the last time that I checked, he has 10,562. Now, if only a quarter of those agree and aren't on the like of the blog that I mentioned before, that would be a total of 2,640 people. Now, you multiply that by the $60 per game, that's $158,000, $400 from estimate subscribers to Event Status that are not going to purchase Devil May Cry. Now, again, I mentioned that Capcom projected sales to be $5 million. But if you take the $159,000 from the blog and you take the $158,400 from the subscribers, you add those together, that is $317,400 of potential loss of sales from merely one person alone, one mere blogger. That's 6.3% of the total anticipated sales that they will not receive. Now, that's the monetary power of only one fan on one video blog on YouTube. I don't know about you, but that's quite a bit of money that Capcom will not be able to receive from these individuals. This is a much milder analysis than if you take a look at www.petitionspot.com/petitions/DMC, an online petitioning site. 6,000 people signed the last that I checked, and we're talking about $60 a game. That's a whopping total of $360,000 in total sales. That's 7.2% of the total projected amount right there. Do you remember that factor of 4 that I mentioned before, the power of communication with gamers? So if you take those additional 4 people, that's going to make 1,000,000 $800,000 of loss. We're talking about 36% of the anticipated amount of $5 million for Capcom. Why do I mention this? This is why belittling and degrading your consumer is always the worst form of advertising that anyone can do. But the ironic part is it doesn't cost a dime to the people who speak their differences of opinion. It might cost between 10 to 36% of potential sales goal, though.
Now, that person was slightly wrong when talking about units and sales of what Capcom had said, but we all get what she's trying to say. And I want to thank her for making that video, because I want to talk about this, because just checking the 4.5 video, it's up to 725 likes now. That means less sales. That's what it means. And we're not even talking about videos 1 through 4 or other videos I've talked about Devil May Cry in that doesn't have the Devil May Cry name in the topic, in the title. Alright? But that's not all. You fanboys are so butthurt that not only do you try belittling people or you try click bombing my page, alright, but you went after a person who has a disability, all because you don't like his opinion on Devil May Cry.
There are so many stupid fucking people on the Devil May Cry forums. It's just ridiculous how many of the people on those forums are freaking retards. And do I have to fucking say hair or look or new or something after every sentence to get you people to pay attention to what I'm saying? I've weighed out pretty damn convincing arguments, and you just sat there and said I was an idiot and I didn't know what I was talking about. So do I have to say hair or new look after every sentence I write to make you people sit there and read what I am saying? So you just sat there and responded, and you didn't really even read what I wrote. I mean, I know I can't spell. I know that. I've come to terms with it. Yeah. And another thing that's been really pissing me off, the internet is not a spelling bee. You do not have to sit there and spell check everything you write. I mean, yes, you should spell check every once in a while, but you're not my damn college professor. You're not anyone important. You're just some asshole on the internet. Now, to be fair though, that was my first time on a forum, so with what I wrote, I had to expect some assholes, but I got banned within, I'd say, about a half hour of the post for spam, which would have been fine. I don't consider what I did spamming.
Can you get any lower to defend a game? Yes, you can. Which leads me to one of the most funny, most pathetic things I've ever seen when it comes to defending a game. Now these fanboys are so butthurt that they're making a blog about me. That's right, they are admitting to stalking me. This person who goes by the name of Disappointed Sparta starts to make blogs about me, calling me a thuggish and chauvinistic spin doctor and targeting my fan page. The insights start to sound familiar, right? I'm just saying. But the funny part about this is, when this clown hyperlinks my fan page, there's not a lot of talk about Devil May Cry on there. And when people are on there, it's mostly the same 10 or 20 people out of over 1,000 people there. But when a person confronts him and calls him butthurt, saying people are allowed to voice their opinion, the blogger deflects all of it by bragging on the degrees that he has. Which I don't believe, because nobody with that many degrees are going to spend their time acting this way, let alone writing in the context that this person does. When another person confronts him, asking if they do know him, he refuses to get personal, which is funny. So you want to make it personal with me, but you're afraid to show your face just like the others. That's because you're part of that group. And when you're being pressured, once again, AO23D swoops in again. This is on another site, mind you, to say that this blog is about defending fans. Really? Is that why this blogger went as far as to make a blog on one post targeting a user by the name of S. Scion? I mean, seriously, it's reaching at its finest. And what is there to defend? There's no talk by the blogger about fans liking the game and wishing it the best. It's going after people who don't like the game, putting them down and calling them names. Once again, no proof or facts on why they don't have a right to be against the game or why the game is good. And after the way you've acted, there's not much to defend anyway. This is also a person who defends that raging idiot. We all know now that they're all together, saying I threaten violent behavior. Well, excuse me if I'm a little old school. What I'm doing is calling you out on your bullshit and showing you there's consequences to your cowardly actions. You know damn well you wouldn't say the things you've said to anyone's face. But if I was such a bad guy, you wouldn't be following me, as this dude says. He's watching all of us. Like he's some type of mysterious internet Batman. Get the fuck out of here with this. I mean, seriously, you calling yourself Sparta, it's not real. Alright? It's that simple. Then when another person reaches out to him, wanting to see the blogger's face, he goes unanswered. Just like AO23D. Why? Because in a predictable turn of events, alright, AO23D admits he's disappointed Sparta later. This kid needs a life. He admits he's gone too far, but won't stop until the game is out, claiming he's calling me out when you guys saw when I confronted him earlier, he was too scared to talk to me. So now you want to cry some more over the next couple of months until the game comes out? You're a loser. You know what? You really do need to get a life.